All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the Global Madridista. It's a little bit late here, but I want to talk about the Mbappe saga because I'm sure you guys have seen this all over the press. So I want to address it. I want to talk, first of all, about, what are the real chances of it coming, because we've been in this scenario so many times before. Secondly, I want to talk about what it means to the team, because it'll have a massive impact on the squad, especially on players like Vini Jr. Thirdly, I want to talk about what the mood is in Madrid about Mbappe coming. If you think we're all here with champagne bottles waiting to pop them open, that is not necessarily the case. There's a lot of ambivalence, a lot of legitimate concerns, and a bit of resentment. So I'll tell you a bit about that. And then finally, I want to talk about Haaland, because I have a crazy theory about what could happen with Haaland in Real Madrid, which I don't think is too crazy. So I want to share that with you as well. So thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that do not know who I am, what this channel is about, I invite you to watch the first video I put out. It's about 10 minutes long, but it gives you an idea of who I am, where I am, why I think I'm particularly qualified to bring you all of the Real Madrid news and analysis that you want. But thanks for watching, and let's get started. All right, welcome back, guys. Let's talk about the Mbappe situation. Now, if you're bored of this, believe me, everybody in Madrid is absolutely sick of this saga. We've been dealing with this issue forever. As you may know, Real Madrid has tried to bring Mbappe over on 3 separate occasions. The first time around, he was 18 years old. It was right before he was going to go to Monaco. At the time, he wasn't the player he is today, so it wasn't really a big deal. The second time was when he was leaving Monaco and he went to PSG. Madrid made an attempt at that time, but how do you compete with PSG money? Because as big and successful and rich as we are, you cannot compete with a nation state. So, I've been to Qatar. It's a very nice place, but it's a giant pile of money. There's absolutely no way to compete with that. I think these clubs are ruining European football, if you want my honest opinion. So he ended up going to PSG. And of course, the drama that you guys probably all remember was last summer. Okay, that was absolutely torturous. Mbappe had made a verbal agreement with Florentino Perez and the club. Even official sources at the club would confirm that there was a verbal agreement. Everybody was absolutely sure that he was coming. I think the Madrid staff had his house ready and, his chef ready and all the things that we do for the players that we bring. And in the very last minute, he caved. Now, this was due to money, obviously. PSG started throwing insane amounts of money to this player. I mean, nobody in the world of football had ever seen numbers like this before. He started getting phone calls from Macron, the president of France, and the Emir of Qatar, which, I mean, for a young man, this is a lot of pressure. Personally, I don't know what the hell heads of states are doing getting involved in football transfers. I would imagine you have more important things to do. But whatever the case may be, he stayed at PSG, and that was incredibly insulting to everybody here in Madrid. So that's sort of the legacy of what happened. Now, in terms of where we are now, I'm going to give you my honest assessment of what the chances are of him coming, because last summer, a lot of journalists and YouTubers got caught with their pants down because a lot of people were trying to make a brand for themselves, saying, oh, I have my inside scoop and, my guy is telling me that he's coming, etc. Most of it was bullshit, and it turned out to be bullshit. In the last minute, he didn't come. You'll notice that the YouTubers and, journalists, they're being a lot more careful this year because of what happened last year. So I'm not going to venture to do anything like that. I am going to tell you my honest opinion mathematically based on the information we have. And so all of this started when Le Parisien came out with an article saying that Mbappe had made up his mind. Now, this is significant because Le Parisien is not a sort of rumor rag. It's not like The Sun in the UK or Bild in Germany. I mean, it's a proper newspaper. It's also a newspaper that has very strong connections to the leadership of PSG. In fact, PSG has very often used Le Parisien to sort of filter narratives and stories strategically whenever they needed them. So I thought it was very significant that he came from Le Parisien. A few hours after that, ESPN reported that their proprietary sources had also confirmed that Mbappe had made up his mind to come over. Now, I think the chances are probably around 70, 75%. Anything can happen because this kid is very unpredictable and he loves money. But I think that on this occasion, he is going to come. So that's my assessment based on everything I hear here in Madrid, everything I'm hearing in France. But that is my number. About a 75% chance it could be announced in days or weeks. But what does it mean for the team? So this is kind of a very, very big issue because Mbappe loves to play the left wing. This is what he does. This is what he loves. But that's where Vini plays. And actually, that's also Rodrigo's natural position, okay? Rodrigo's been playing on the right because he's had no choice, because Vini's on the left. Mbappe has played the number 9 position. He's done it a few times with France. He's done it recently under Luis Enrique at PSG. He's been playing the 9 position. He's been scoring goals. He's getting more used to it, so he can do it, but it is not his first choice. So this poses a bit of a problem. I think if there is a manager in the world that can try to manage this well, I think Ancelotti is probably as good as anybody in terms of being able to manage this. He gives players a lot of liberty on the pitch in terms of moving around. He has a way of inspiring kind of, tranquility and calm. Like, he's a guy that manages difficult situations very, very well. So he may very well be able to get away with it, but it will be a kind of a compromising situation. So that's one of the concerns. Another one of the concerns is the chemistry. I mean, right now, the atmosphere in Real Madrid is excellent, okay? The team members love each other. There's an incredible sense of camaraderie, of unity, of solidarity, and sacrifice. I mean, these guys play so well together. Even players that come off the bench that don't play regularly are excited, happy. There's no tension in the locker room at all. And there is some concern that Mbappe coming in, he's a bit of a prima donna. He is the best. By the way, let me interject with this. He is the best player in the world, without a doubt. Okay? He can do everything that Vini does up the left wing. He can take defenders on. He dribbles. He's fast. He's intelligent. He knows how to take people on. But he's a much better finisher. And as much as I love Vini, and it breaks my heart to say this, Mbappe is just a better player. He has everything that Vini has, but he's a killer. He knows how to finish, and that makes a massive difference. So it's going to be a very, very tricky situation. Now, what's it going to be like in the locker room when a player comes in who now has a much higher salary than everybody else? That could create some tension as well. So that's another one of the concerns that we have in terms of how he will affect the squad. Now, let me tell you about the mood in Madrid, because, like I said, I think if you were in any other city in the world, people would be ecstatic at the chance of Mbappe coming. And he is the best player in the world, and nobody's debating this. But we have a lot of resentment, okay? Real Madrid is a club that is above absolutely everything and anyone, okay? There's never been a player bigger than the club. We do not tolerate attitude. The team is always bigger. The club, the legacy, the history is beyond anything in the world. I don't know if you guys remember when Cristiano was at the height of his goal-scoring powers, he requested a meeting with Florentino Perez to try to get an improvement on his contract. And Florentino Perez almost threw him out the window, okay? This club does not bend for any player. We are above absolutely everything in the world, and we never make exceptions, right? We respect contracts. We expect players to respect contracts. So Mbappe needs to understand when he comes in that he is coming into an institution like absolutely none other. So there is a lot of resentment about what he did to us last year. It was a slap in the face. It's not something that we're accustomed to. And there is a lot of resentment. And I have to be honest, I'm one of those people who feels very ambivalent about this. So if Mbappe comes, he's going to have a lot of apologizing to do. He's going to have to kiss this a lot. And I would expect a public apology. So he's going to have to kind of win our hearts. So if you think this is all going to be just, a big celebration, it's not. He's going to have to deal with some issues when he gets here. Okay, now let me move on to my sort of Holland theory. Now, Florentino Perez is one of the smartest men. You know, I love to follow brilliant people, Elon Musk and Jobs and all these guys. This man is extremely intelligent. And I think Florentino Perez is using last year's experience as leverage to muscle Mbappe down in price. Not just his salary, but the transfer fee. So what I think could happen, and this is what is being discussed at the moment all over Madrid, that the transfer fee, the signing bonus will be significantly less than people were discussing last year. I think they were talking about 130 last year. Now they're talking about like 75. The salary would be about 35. He's going to have to take a 50% pay cut to come. And I think that Florentino is using last year as leverage. And I think that he's telling Kylian, this is your last chance in your life to wear this jersey, and we are not fucking around. You're going to take this contract, not a penny more, and if you don't like it, we're never speaking again. So I think he can come for less money than we thought. Now, secondly, Real Madrid has just refurbished the stadium. It was a €1 billion project. None of it with Real Madrid money. It was all externally financed. I think the interest rate was like 1.3, 1.5%. An incredible financial operation that will be paid for with the revenues of what the new stadium can provide in 4 years. So Real Madrid now stands to make 150 million euros a year more than before. So Real Madrid is going to get Mbappe for less, and they're in the best financial position probably than they've ever been. Now let's think about what's happening to Haaland. Interesting, right? Mbappe doesn't want to play number 9. He likes to play the left, but we need a number 9. Joselu does a great job, but we need a number 9. Haaland is in a place, he's in a club that has some very serious concerns because the 115 allegations that the English Federation are making again are very serious. The FA has made it very clear with the Everton example that they don't mess around. It's a country where the rule of law is respected. Fairness in sport is respected. So if you're a Manchester City player, you are concerned. And I think that they all are, to be honest. Now, Haaland had the fantasy of, playing for his daddy's team. And I get the emotional value of that. He's already ticked that box. So he's played 2 years in daddy's team. He's at a club that is either going to be very heavily fined or even relegated, and that's a disaster. And he's always wanted to play in Spain. He's always wanted to play in Real Madrid. And he has a contract that allows him to leave in the summer to a non-EPL club. And I think the number is about 120 million or something like that. But the point is, if you look at all these factors together, this makes sense. It is very possible. Look, it can be an outlandish theory, but I think it's very possible that he could bring Mbappe and Haaland as well. Now, if it sounds crazy, Florentino Perez is a guy that's done unbelievable things in the past. This man literally has reinvented salary structures, transfer structures. If anybody in the world can do it, it's him. So I'm throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it's a lot more likely than many of you might think. So anyway, food for thought. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. But I thought the Mbappe thing was something that I needed to cover because that's all anyone was talking about. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.